Hello everyone, I'd like to talk about an incredible mod I've discovered. So, we all know the 16 colors in Minecraft. Here they are. They work, they're good, they're decent. You can do a lot of things with all these colors, especially with the glazed and terracotta and all the different little shades you can get, all the nuances with the colors, how they're also a bit different. But I found a mod called Dye Depot, and it's criminally underrated, and it has added 16 brand new colors to Minecraft, and here they are. These are the new colors added in Dye Depot. This mod only has about 47,000 downloads, which, granted, is a lot, but, it could have way more. I wanted to talk about what I think all of these new colors could be used for, and why I think just having these, a total of 32 colors over our standard 16 works. And honestly, why I think these colors might be superior to our colors. Don't get me wrong, I'm by no means advocating that we get rid of these, but just this feels so limited now that I have this. I might use this for info builds, if I'm being honest. So, let's take a look. Starting with maroon. Maroon, I think, is probably my favorite one. And I think if you paired it with black, maroon and black go really well together, and I think it adds a new level of darkness that we couldn't get with just maroon and red. Let me go put this black bed and a maroon bed next to each other, and I'll show you what I mean. Look at that. Doesn't that look so much better? Well, to me at least. I'm a big fan of dark. I'm a fan of dark colors, but these give off very different vibes. This is much brighter. This is more positive. This seems much more sinister, and I really love it. Moving on to rose. Now, rose just slots in nicely with our purple, magenta, and pink here, but I think it's closer to red than it is to pink, and I think that just gives us a nice new range of colors we can go for. We can go for this, and I love this color too. I think the glazed terracotta is alright. It could be better, it could be worse. It makes a rose! Of course it does, it's rose. But, I think it could just be used for an extra level of pink, and I'm sure there's a couple blocks in here that it would go really well with. Next is coral. And I like it. It's kind of a red-orange mix. I like it. I have no real ideas on what it could be used for right now, but I'm sure there's people out there who would love to have this as part of their arsenal. Moving on to ginger, sorry. Ginger. The main thing I like about ginger, not only do I kind of prefer this orange over our orange, this is nice, but this is so good. I love that. But it finally gives us an actually, workable orange terracotta. Orange glazed terracotta, that is. Because the real orange glazed terracotta is my least favorite terracotta in the game by far. It is hideous. There's nowhere near enough orange. It's way too cyan. And don't get me wrong, cyan's a nice color, but what is it doing in my orange glazed terracotta? And not only that, the ginger terracotta is very 70s. Oh, that's a problem. It doesn't tile well. It tiles really nicely this way, but vertically, it doesn't really work. Okay, but it looks alright. It's very 70s. Despite its minor flaws, I think, in the design, a slight tweak on this could look really good. And it finally gives us a workable orange glazed terracotta. Moving on to tan. I gotta say, I think tan is the weakest of the new colors. Especially its glazed terracotta is just a bit... It's alright, I suppose. I don't personally like the look of tan very much, but I'm sure there's situations out there in which using tan could be great. Moving on to beige, and beige was the first one that made me make this video just about this mod instead of about a bunch of other things. It also has a bit of a 70s feel to the glazed terracotta, but a more square one, and look, that looks beautiful, first of all. The main problem I'm noticing with the glazed terracottas in this mod is that they can only tile in a very specific way. There's not every single one of these, you can kind of put it down just however and it'll look alright. Of course, there's ways that it looks better, but, it'll match up. So, maybe if the person who made this mod ever wants to update it, they can work on that. But I mean, let's take a look at... There's finally something that you might be able to put with sandstone, and it would look alright. It's not an exact match. Like, it's not perfect. I would have made it a bit lighter, I think, and which would have also differentiated it more from tan, but as it stands, it is the best option when working with sandstone. And I've wanted a desert base for ages, and if we like, just look how much better that looks than the tan or the yellow or the white. It's gonna look better 100% of the time, pretty much. I would have made it a bit lighter to closer match the color of sandstone personally, but it's alright. Amber. Amber is just more of a subdued yellow. What I'm getting from a lot of these is that they tend to be kind of subdued versions of colors already in the game. It's a bit of a darker, muted yellow. And it works well. It looks quite nice. I do like its look. And if you're going for a more old school or rustic or that sort of feel, Amber is going to work really well. I also like its glazed terracotta. I think I'm one of the only people in this world who actually likes glazed terracotta as a block concept, but I just think they look so good for floors. Anyway, moving on to olive. Olive is a quite interesting one, because it is a bit ugly as a color, but that kind of works. Maybe if I was wanting to build something in a swamp, maybe I'd get some of that. Like this would be good for a build. If I was good at building, you could maybe use some of the concrete powder or the wool, and you could just make something that looks a bit gunky. Or maybe if you're going for a sort of, anyway, you get the idea. If you're going for a kind of gunky floor or naturey floor, like I could imagine this being used in a big swamp base with a kind of nature feel, but still looks refined. This one's alright. It's got a limited use case, but it does have a use case. Next is forest, and I wouldn't call this forest green personally. I think forest green's a bit darker than that, but you know, we're looking at the colors here. First of all, the glazed terracotta has this beautiful watermelon texture. That's pretty cool. I like the watermeloniness. Second of all, the wool. It looks like the old lime wool from the older versions, because they changed the lime wool, but this is the old kind of version, and it's a shade of green that I feel like is more common than either of the greens we have, and it works so well, and it's nice and vibrant. I just like it, and I'd make a frog out of it. I think what I'd use this for is a cartoony frog. Moving on to our second shade of green, we have verdant, which is a bit of an odd name, if I'm being honest, but it's just a darker green. The wool even has a bit of a tealness to it. It feels like it would slot right in there. Ironically, or I suppose not ironically, fittingly would go well with the verdant froglight. That works pretty well. I like how that looks. I'm a big fan of verdant. Now let's look at the glazed terracotta. I think I could imagine this being used in sort of a futuristic spaceship. It gives me similar vibes as the ash or light gray glazed terracotta, in that it looks futuristic, but two very different futures. This is a very metallic, gray, metal, teal, you know, traditional sci-fi future, and this seems more of this is a very different future, but it's a future I would like to explore, I think. Very similar in that way, which is interesting, and I think actually verdant and light gray or ash would go well together as a rare pairing. Moving on to teal. Just like a lot of these, I think the color looks a bit better. This mod scratches an itch for me. It just adds so many colors that I adore, because I'm a big fan of more subdued colors. Not pastels necessarily, but subdued colors, which I don't think you'd guess by looking at my skin, but it's true. This kind of reminds me of a guardian, if that makes sense. See that? And now look at that, and now look at that. It's kind of similar. Anyway, back to peaceful. I like this one. Don't know when I'd use it, but I like it. Moving on to mint. Now, we're gonna need to have a chat, person who made this mod. What is this? The only problem I have with it, look me in the eyes and tell me those look similar. Fix the color of your glazed terracotta, then I'll like you. All the glazed terracottas match the color of the concrete, or the terracotta. And I suppose this one does too, but why is your mint terracotta that color? I'd like to have this as a color in my glazed terracotta, because I think that just looks so much nicer. Moving on to aqua. Aqua is the color we have been so desperately needing for so long. Because let me get out some prismarine and some diamonds. Prismarine, diamond, aqua. It is perfect. It is the perfect thing. If I knew about this mod when I started the diamond base in my info build series, I would have made it so different. I love this. I'm so glad this is a thing. Underwater bases are gonna look so much better because, I'm sorry, but these don't cut it. Aqua, aqua, aqua. Perfect. I love you. And the glazed terracotta is oceany. I don't know if I like it. I don't know if I like how this one looks, but it's oceany. It's amazing. I love this. This is my favorite one. Thank you so much. Moving swiftly on to slate. It's beautiful. It is a great shade of blue. You know me. I think this is probably my favorite shade of blue in the world. I like the glazed terracotta. Having that in like a city would look incredible. If you were building a city or like an aquarium, almost like or a swimming pool or something, there's nothing better because nothing else has that tiling look to it. This would be great for anything with tiles. A city block or a kitchen or a bathroom or a pool. This is perfect. Not only that, I love the color. And it would add a bit of color to cities, modern cities, that I think the grays aren't providing us. Good tiling, you don't have to just get like 2 different shades of gray and checkerboard it. You can have actual tiles. This one's great. I love slate. I'm a big fan. Again, just a color that I feel like we're missing out on. Like, it just adds, like, the colors they picked to add are perfect. They picked the perfect colors. It's incredible. However, brother, I'm gonna put that meme on this. Why? Why have you done that? Why have you put it like that? That's such like it's just so bad. It's just so bad. I just hate it. I just hate this glazed terracotta. I'm sorry, I'd never use this. But the rest is good. It's just a darker blue. And finally, we have indigo. Again, it's just a darker purple, but I think it strikes a thing that our current purple can't do. Our current purple is very playful. It's very non-serious, you know? It's like a silly purple almost. If I had to call it anything. Also, ew. What is that terracotta? But indigo is a purple that doesn't mess around. Indigo, you don't want to mess with indigo. You see purple walking down the street, you're like, oh, la-di-da-di-da, I'll pickpocket this guy. You see indigo walking down the street, you go, oh my god! It's a very serious color. It looks regal. It would be great for royalty. I can imagine some snobby-ass royal having this as their floor. And I just love it. I love it. I love it. I love the color of the bed. I love how it compares to our purple. It's just so much more bam, you know, but not in your face bam. It's beautiful. I love it. I love it so much. So yeah, those are all the new colors in this mod, Dye Depot. I'll link the modrinth for it in the description. I hope you like this video. I'm trying to switch up my content a bit. Maybe if you want me to do more mod reviews, I will. But yeah, that's Dye Depot. Hope you guys like it. I might, if this was in 1.20.1, I'd use it on my info build series, but unfortunately it's not. If the creator of this mod is seeing this, I'd love to see an update. Maybe bring it into the new versions, fix your terrible navy glazed terracotta, maybe put have this tile a bit better, I think. It doesn't tile super well. But yeah, other than that, I love, bring the beige down a bit in darkness, lighten it. But genuinely, those are my only notes. It's incredible. I love it. 9 out of 10. 9.5 out of 10. This is amazing. Yeah, if you enjoyed this video, like, comment, subscribe, you know the deal.